The phone vibrated against the nightstand at 11:47. Clara Bennett had been asleep for maybe 40 minutes. The Chicago hotel room smelled like carpet cleaner, and that faint metallic tang all conference hotels shared. She fumbled for the phone, knocking over the glass of water on the nightstand. Water pooled on the laminate. She didn't care. The caller ID said OHSU, Oregon Health and Science University. Her stomach dropped before she answered. "Is this Clara Bennett?" The voice was young, tired, the kind of tired that comes from a night shift in a trauma unit. "Yes, ma'am, your husband, Daniel Bennett, was admitted about 20 minutes ago. Motor vehicle accident on Highway 26. He's in surgery." Clara sat on the edge of the bed. Her bare feet touched the cold floor. The room tilted. "How bad?" "The doctor can give you details when you arrive. He's critical but stable. You should come as soon as you can." She hung up and stood in the dark wearing an old t-shirt, listening to the HVAC hum. Then she moved. Fast, efficient, no wasted motion. She packed her laptop, her toothbrush, the heels she'd worn to that afternoon's presentation. She booked the first flight out of O'Hare. She called a rideshare. She didn't cry. The flight was endless. Clara sat in seat 14C with her hands folded, staring at the seat back. The woman beside her read a romance novel on a Kindle. Somewhere over Wyoming, she looked over and said, "You okay, honey?" Clara smiled. Long day. That was the thing about Clara. She could smile when the world was ending. She'd been doing it since she was 12, when her parents sat her down at the kitchen table to say they were divorcing. She'd smiled then too, said it was fine, gone upstairs and cried into her pillow for an hour. But downstairs she was fine. The plane landed in Portland at 9:20. It was raining, that fine gray drizzle that made everything look like a watercolor left out in the weather. Clara picked up a rental Corolla and drove straight to OHSU. The hospital sat on the hill, that long winding road up through the trees. She was driving today. She didn't feel carsick. She felt like she was made of concrete. Parking garage, 4th floor. Elevator down, skybridge across, signs to the emergency department. Fluorescent lights hummed. A man in the waiting room snored with his mouth open. A child colored at a table, crayon scratching paper. She approached the nurse's station. A young woman with a neon pink badge holder looked up. "I'm looking for Daniel Bennett. Admitted last night." "Car accident," the nurse typed. Her fingers paused. She looked up, and something shifted behind her eyes. "Are you family?" "I'm his wife." The nurse's mouth opened and closed. She glanced at the screen, then back at Clara. She leaned forward, lowering her voice. "Ma'am, I'm sorry. You can't go back there right now." Clara blinked. "What do you mean?" "I'm his wife. I just flew in from Chicago. I know." "I'm sorry. It's just his wife and child are already with him. They've been here since last night. The doctor is with them now." The words landed like something physical. Clara felt them hit her sternum and spread outward, slow and hot, like ink in water. His wife and child. His wife and child. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. She could hear the lights humming, the man snoring, the crayon on paper. Somewhere a monitor beeped in a steady, indifferent rhythm. The nurse watched her with that careful expression people get when they know they've said something terrible but can't take it back. "Ma'am, are you all right?" Clara nodded. It was the only thing her body knew how to do. She turned and walked past the waiting room, past the coloring child, past the vending machines, through the skybridge, into the parking garage, into the elevator. 4th floor. The elevator smelled like bleach. She watched the numbers tick up. 1, 2, 3, 4. She got in the Corolla, put the key in the ignition, didn't start the car. She sat there. Rain tapped the windshield in a soft, irregular rhythm. The wipers were off and water built up in sheets, distorting the view. A woman with a stroller walked past. A man in scrubs smoked by the exit. Clara thought about 11 years, Thanksgivings and arguments about the thermostat, and that summer they'd driven to Banff, and Daniel proposed beside a lake so blue it didn't look real. 11 years of him working late, of trips to meet clients, of coming home tired and distant, and then, suddenly, affectionate in a way that felt like overcompensation, the way he'd started keeping his phone face down. The second phone line last year said it was for business. She thought about the miscarriage. 2 years ago, 4 months along. They'd been trying for a year. Daniel held her hand and said, "We'll try again." "It's okay." They hadn't. He said he wasn't ready. She said she understood. She understood now. The phone was in her hand. She didn't remember picking it up. She found Trish's name. It rang twice. "Clara? Hey, I thought you were in Chicago." "Trish." Her voice was steady. It amazed her how steady. "I need you to meet me at my house and bring every divorce form you have." A pause. Then Trish's voice, sharp and professional now, the lawyer voice. "Clara, what happened?" Clara looked through the rain-streaked windshield at the gray Portland sky. Somewhere above her, in that hospital, her husband lay in a bed, and somewhere in that room was another woman, and a child. "I'll tell you when you get here," Clara said. "But bring the forms. All of them." She hung up, started the car, pulled out of the space and drove down the ramp, past the smoking man in scrubs, past the patient drop-off sign, out onto the road winding through the trees. She didn't look back. The house smelled like Daniel. Clara stood in the front hallway of the bungalow they'd bought 6 years ago. His running shoes were by the door, caked with mud from the trail he'd said he was hiking. His jacket hung on the hook. A coffee mug sat in the sink, dried espresso at the bottom. She set her suitcase down, didn't unpack. At 10:15, Trish pulled up in her black Subaru. She came in with a leather briefcase and a paper bag from the donut shop on Alberta. "Talk," Trish said, setting the bag on the counter. Clara told her. The phone call, the flight, the hospital, the nurse. She said, "His wife and child" out loud for the first time, And the words didn't get any easier. Trish listened. When Clara finished, she handed her a glazed donut. Eat. You look like you're going to pass out. Clara ate standing up. It tasted like nothing. Okay, Trish said, pulling papers from her briefcase. We don't confront him yet, we gather. Finances first. Bank accounts, credit cards, tax returns. If he's supporting another household, the money trail is there. They spent 3 hours at the kitchen table. Clara logged into their accounts. Trish took notes on a legal pad. Joint checking was normal. Savings told a different story. For 3 years, Daniel had transferred $1,200 a month to an account at a credit union in Vancouver, Washington. Vancouver, Trish said. 20 minutes from here. He didn't even leave the metro area. Clara kept scrolling. Credit card charges she didn't recognize. A pediatrician in Beaverton, a daycare center, a furniture store in Tigard, a monthly rent payment to an apartment complex in Northeast Portland. $14.50 a month. The phone rang. Daniel. The screen glowed with a photo of them at a wedding last summer, his arm around her waist, both laughing. Don't answer, Trish said. Clara answered. Hey, baby. His voice was rough, weaker than she'd ever heard it. But the tone was the same. Warm, intimate. The voice he used when he wanted something. I'm so sorry I scared you. Broken ribs. A concussion. Nothing permanent. Where are you? I tried calling last night. I'm still in Chicago, Clara said. The lie came out smooth. Meetings ran late. Everything was booked. Oh, that's too bad. But don't rush back. My friend Maya is here. She's been taking care of everything. You remember Maya from the firm? She's been a godsend. Maya, so that was her name. I'm glad someone's there, Clara said. Her own voice sounded polite, distant. A coworker, not a wife. I love you. See you when you get back, okay? Okay, get some rest. She hung up. He called me baby. There's another woman in his hospital room, and he called me baby. Trish put her hand over Clara's. We've got the transfers, the apartment, the pediatrician, the daycare. That's a pattern. That's a life. Clara walked into Daniel's studio, the back room he said he needed his space in. The desk was cluttered with blueprints and a half-empty bourbon bottle. She opened the bottom drawer. Beneath old portfolios was a cheap drugstore photo album. First page, Daniel holding a newborn in a blue blanket. Date stamp 2 years ago. Next, Daniel and a dark-haired woman on a couch, the baby between them. They looked like a family. Last page, a loose photo of Daniel, the woman, and a toddler at a table with a blue frosted birthday cake. On the back, in Daniel's handwriting, our first family Christmas. Clara carried it back to the kitchen. Trish turned it over, read the words, and her jaw tightened. Okay, Trish said. Now we stop being nice. Clara opened the banking app. Savings. $82,000. Money for a bigger house. For the family they were supposedly going to have. Can I move it? Into my account? In Oregon, marital assets can be transferred during marriage. It's legal. But document everything, and don't drain it to zero. Leave enough so he doesn't panic. Clara moved $60,000 into her personal checking. Left 22. Then she searched for Portland divorce attorneys who specialized in hidden assets. You don't have to do this tonight, Trish said. Yes, I do. Because tomorrow he'll call me baby again, and I need to already be on the other side of that. Rain tapped the window. Clara's phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Thinking of you. Can't wait to see you. She didn't reply. She opened a document titled Timeline and started writing. Every late night, every work trip, every time he'd been distant or too affectionate. 11 years reduced to dates and bullet points. Trish fell asleep on the couch. Clara worked until after midnight. At 12:47, she looked up. The photo sat on the table, Daniel's handwriting visible. Our first family Christmas. She picked up her phone and called the hospital. Hi, this is Clara Bennett. I'm Daniel Bennett's wife. When do visiting hours start tomorrow? Clara didn't go to the hospital. She told herself it was strategy. Trish had said gather before you act, but the truth was simpler. She couldn't walk into that room and see him with Maya and the child. Not yet. Not without knowing what she was going to do. Instead, she called a locksmith. He showed up at 9 in the morning, a heavy-set guy with a beard and a van that said A1 lock and key on the side. He rekeyed the front door and the back door in 40 minutes. Clara paid him in cash, $240, and he left without asking questions. Then she packed. It took 3 hours. She went through the bedroom, the bathroom, the studio. She folded Daniel's clothes, the flannel shirts he wore in the winter, the running gear, the suit he'd worn to her sister's wedding. She boxed his books, his record collection, the architecture awards on the shelf. She found his passport in the desk drawer and set it on top of the last box. She didn't cry. She didn't hesitate. She worked the way she worked on a marketing campaign, systematically, checking things off a mental list. No room for sentiment. By noon, the boxes were stacked in the garage. The house looked like a hotel room, clean, impersonal, nothing of his left out. At 1 o'clock, her phone rang. Daniel. Hey baby, they're discharging me. Maya's driving me home. Can you make sure there's something for dinner? I'm starving. Hospital food is a crime. Clara stood in the empty kitchen. The counter was clear. The coffee mug was gone, washed and put away. I'm not there, she said. What? I thought you were coming back today. My flight got delayed. I'm still in Chicago. There was a pause. She could hear him breathing. That's weird. I could have sworn I saw your car in the driveway when Maya drove by this morning. Clara's stomach tightened. You must have seen someone else's. It's a gray Corolla. They're everywhere. Yeah, probably. He didn't sound convinced. Okay, well, I'll see you when you get here. I love you. Love you too. She hung up. She stood very still for a moment, then walked to the front window and pulled the curtain aside. A silver Honda Civic was parked at the curb. Daniel was in the passenger seat, a bandage around his head, his arm in a sling. A woman with dark hair pulled back in a ponytail was in the driver's seat. She was looking at the house. Maya. Clara stepped back from the window. She watched through the gap in the curtain as Daniel got out of the car. slowly, wincing, holding his ribs, and walked up the front steps. He tried the door. It didn't open. He tried again, jiggled the handle, pressed his forehead against the glass. He took out his phone. Clara's phone buzzed in her hand. She didn't answer. Daniel stood on the porch for a long time. Then he went back to the car. He said something to Maya. She looked at the house, at the door, at Daniel. She put the car in drive and pulled away. Clara waited 10 minutes. Then she called him back. Hey, she said. Sorry, I was in a meeting. What's up? Clara. His voice was different now. Not warm, not intimate. Tight. The locks are changed. I know. You know? What do you mean, you know? I mean, I had them changed, Daniel. I mean, your things are in the garage. I mean, I'm not coming to the hospital, and I'm not making dinner, and I'm not going to pretend I don't know. There was a long silence. She could hear traffic in the background, the hum of the car. Know what? He said. His voice was careful now. Testing. Clara laughed. It came out sharp and ugly. Don't do that. Not with me. The nurse at the hospital told me. His wife and child are already with him. Those were her exact words. The silence stretched. Somewhere a car horn honked. Clara, Daniel said. Let me explain. There's nothing to explain. You've been living a double life for 3 years. You have a 2-year-old child. You've been paying for an apartment with our money. You've been lying to me every single day. I was going to tell you. When he graduated high school? Clara, please. I just got out of the hospital. I'm in pain. Can we sit down and talk about this like adults? No, Clara said. We can't. Because if I sit down with you, you'll do what you always do. You'll be charming and sorry, and you'll make me feel like I'm the one being unreasonable. And I'm not doing that anymore. She hung up. She turned off her phone. She sat down at the kitchen table and put her head in her hands. For the first time since the hospital, she cried. Not quietly, not into a pillow. She cried the way you cry when something is actually broken, gasping, messy, shoulders shaking. She cried for 11 years. She cried for the baby she'd lost. She cried for the woman she'd been when she married him, the one who'd believed everything. When she was done, she washed her face. She turned her phone back on. There were 17 missed calls from Daniel and 3 texts. The last one said, I'm at Maya's. We need to talk, please. She didn't reply. The next morning, she went to work. She had a 9 o'clock meeting with her team, a product launch for a new line of organic snacks. She put on a blazer, covered the redness around her eyes with concealer, and drove downtown. She was in the middle of presenting the campaign timeline when her admin knocked on the conference room door. Sorry. Clara, there's a woman here to see you. Says it's urgent. Who is it? She wouldn't give her name. She said you'd know who she is. Clara's stomach dropped. She told her team to take a 10-minute break and walked out to the lobby. Maya was sitting in one of the leather chairs by the window. She was wearing jeans and a sweater, no makeup, her dark hair loose. She looked tired. She was holding a car seat, the kind that snaps into a stroller, and inside it, a toddler with Daniel's curly brown hair was asleep, thumb in mouth. Maya stood up when she saw Clara. I don't know who you are, Maya said. Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. But Daniel's phone had your number in it under emergency contact, and I need to know why. They went to a coffee shop 2 blocks from Clara's office. Maya carried the car seat with practiced ease. The toddler, Liam, who had stayed asleep. He had Daniel's nose. Clara tried not to look at him. They sat at a table by the window. Maya ordered a tea. Clara ordered nothing. Her hands were cold. I need you to understand something, Maya said, leaning forward. I had no idea. Daniel told me he was divorced. He showed me papers. I saw them. A divorce decree filed in Multnomah County. I even called the courthouse to verify. Clara stared at her. You called the courthouse? I did. Because my sister went through a bad divorce, and she told me to check. The clerk confirmed it. A divorce had been filed under Daniel's name, then it was forged, Clara said. Or he used someone else's case number. We've been married for 11 years, Maya. 11. There is no divorce. Maya's face went pale. She reached into her bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper, a copy of the divorce decree. She slid it across the table. Clara picked it up. It looked official. Letterhead from the Multnomah County Circuit Court. Case number. Date filed. Signatures. But she noticed it immediately. The date was wrong. The divorce was filed 3 years ago, but Daniel had been on a business trip in New York that entire week. She remembered because she'd had to take his mother to a doctor's appointment while he was gone. This is fake, Clara said. The date doesn't line up. He wasn't even in Portland. Maya put her hand over her mouth. Oh my God. He told you he was divorced. He showed you fake papers. He's been paying your rent with our money. He's been living with you and with Liam, and coming home to me every night. The words hung between them. Liam stirred in the car seat, made a small sound, and settled again. I loved him, Maya said. Her voice cracked. I thought we were a family. He talked about getting married, about having another baby. He said he was waiting for the right time to propose. Clara felt something cold settle in her chest. He said the same thing to me, about renewing our vows. Last anniversary. Maya looked at her. For the first time, there was no accusation in her eyes, just recognition. 2 women who'd been told the same lies by the same man, but then Clara caught herself. This was too neat, too convenient. What if Maya was acting? What if she'd known all along and was now trying to position herself as a victim? How do I know you're not lying? Clara said. The words came out harsher than she intended. Maya blinked. What? How do I know you didn't know? How do I know this isn't some act you 2 put together when you got caught? Maya's expression shifted. The vulnerability hardened into something else. Anger. Are you serious? I have a 2-year-old child. I quit my job to stay home with him because Daniel said he'd take care of us. I turned down a promotion at the school because he said we were moving to a bigger place. I gave up 3 years of my life for a man who told me he was single. And you're asking me if I'm lying? I'm asking how I can trust anything you say. You don't have to trust me. Trust the papers. Trust the bank records. Trust the fact fact that I'm sitting here with a baby in a coffee shop shaking because my entire life just turned out to be a lie. Maya stood up. She grabbed the car seat handle, her movements sharp with suppressed tears. I thought you should know, she said. I thought you deserved the truth. But if you're going to treat me like the enemy, I'm not treating you like the enemy. Then what are you doing? Clara didn't have an answer. She sat there as Maya walked out, the car seat bouncing slightly with each step. The bell above the door jingled. She called Trish from the parking lot. I met her, Clara said. And? She says she didn't know. She showed me a fake divorce decree. She says she thought he was single. Do you believe her? I don't know. Part of me does. Part of me thinks it's too convenient. Clara, Trish's voice was careful. I need you to listen to me. In cases like this, the other woman is almost always a victim too. Men who do this, they don't tell the second person. They can't. The whole system falls apart if both women know. Almost always, Clara said. What? You said almost always. So sometimes they do know, sometimes. But Maya Torres, elementary school teacher, 2-year-old kid, no criminal record, no history. She doesn't fit the profile of a willing accomplice. I don't care about profiles. I care about the truth. Then keep gathering. Talk to her again if you need to, but don't push her away. If she's a victim, she's an asset. She has evidence. She has the fake papers. She has 3 years of his lies on tape, in texts, in emails. Clara leaned against her car. The rain had started again, fine and gray, spotting the windshield. She has a son, Trish. He looks exactly like Daniel. I know. What am I supposed to do with that? You don't have to do anything with it. That's his problem, not yours. That night, Daniel called again. Clara answered this time. Clara, we need to talk. About Maya, about everything. There's nothing to talk about. She came to see you, didn't she? I know she did. She told me. His voice was rising. You had no right, and I had no right. You had no right to marry me, and then marry someone else in every way that matters. She's not my wife. You are? Then why did you tell her you were divorced? Why did you show her fake papers? Silence. Then quieter. I was going to fix it. You were going to what? Divorce me and marry her? Or keep lying forever? Clara, if you go through with this, if you file, if you tell people, I'll lose everything. My career, my son, everything. You don't want that on your conscience. Clara gripped the phone. Is that a threat? It's a fact. And you should think about it. Because if I go down, I'm not going alone. He hung up. Clara stood in the dark kitchen, the phone still in her hand. The rain tapped against the window. Somewhere in the house, a pipe ticked. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. It was a photo. Daniel, Maya, and Liam at the hospital, taken through a window. The caption read, "She knows. What are you going to do?" The number was Maya's. Maya called 3 days later. Clara almost didn't answer. She'd been staring at the text, the photo, the question, for 72 hours. What are you going to do? It was a challenge, an invitation, the sound of someone else who'd been lied to, reaching across the divide. She answered on the 4th ring. I want to show you something, Maya said. No greeting. Can you meet me? At the library on Northeast 15th. Public. Neutral. Give me an hour. Clara found her in the periodicals section, Liam in a stroller beside her. He was awake, chewing on a board book, his eyes, Daniel's eyes, tracking people walking by. Maya pushed a folder across the table. Financial records I could find. Bank statements, credit card bills, the lease. I went through everything after I talked to you. Clara opened it. The apartment lease, Daniel's name, $14.50 a month. A credit card statement. Groceries, gas, pediatrician, daycare. The 3rd document made her stop. A mortgage statement. The property was the apartment building. Loan amount, $285,000. Monthly, $1,600. And the borrower's name. Clara read it twice. This is in my name. Maya nodded. I didn't understand at first. But he bought the apartment. He didn't rent it. The lease was a cover. The loan is in your name. Clara felt the blood drain from her face. That's not possible. I never signed anything. He forged your signature. Or used your social security number. Either way, identity theft. Financial fraud. $285,000. A mortgage she didn't know about, on property she'd never seen, in her name. If Daniel defaulted, her credit would be destroyed. How long? 3 years. He bought it right before Liam was born. Said his divorce settlement gave him the down payment. Clara closed the folder. Her hands were shaking. She put them under the table. I believe you, Clara said. About not knowing. I believe you now. Maya exhaled, the sound of someone holding their breath too long. Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't before. You had no reason. I would have thought the same. Liam dropped the board book. Maya picked it up, and when she sat back, her eyes were wet. He told me I was the only one. Said his ex-wife was bitter that you'd cheated. That the marriage was over years before the divorce. Clara laughed. Bitter. Hollow. He told me you were a colleague. Helping with a project. Married to someone in the firm. We were both his cover. The library was quiet. A woman at the next table turned a magazine page. Somewhere a printer word. We should go to the police, Clara said. Together. Identity theft, forgery. Bigamy isn't technically bigamy if we weren't legally married, Maya said. He never married me. But the fraud, forgery, identity theft, those are real crimes. Then we report them. Maya hesitated. If we report him, he loses his license. His career. Jail, probably. And Liam isn't your responsibility to protect from his father's consequences. I know. But he's my son. I don't want him to grow up knowing his father went to prison because his mother helped put him there. Clara looked at her. The dark circles, the chipped nail polish, the hand always on the stroller. She saw herself in this woman. Not the same, not equal, but connected by the same damage. I don't know the right answer, Clara said. But I can't let him get away with this. Not after 11 years. Not after what he did to both of us. Maya nodded slowly. Okay, I'm in. They talked another hour, comparing timelines. Every business trip had been with the other woman. Every gift, every promise, every excuse. The patterns were identical. Same lines, same stories about his childhood, same jokes about his mother's cooking. When Clara got home, there was a voicemail from Eleanor. Clara, dear, I heard there's some trouble. I'd like to take you to lunch. We need to talk. About family. About forgiveness. Clara deleted it. Then called her back. Eleanor, did you know? Know what, dear? About Maya. About Liam. Did you know your son has been living a double life for 3 years? The silence was answer enough. Clara, he's my son. I couldn't. You knew. I suspected. I didn't have proof. And even if I did, break up 2 families? Hurt a child? You could have told me. Warned me. Clara, please. He's still my boy, and Liam is my grandson. I can't choose sides. You already chose, Clara said. You chose him 3 years ago, and you let me walk around like a fool. She hung up. She thought about 11 years of Sunday dinners, birthday calls, Eleanor asking when they'd give her grandchildren. Every smile had been a performance. Her phone buzzed. A LinkedIn notification. Daniel Bennett had posted, grateful to be recovering from a recent car accident, and especially grateful for my beautiful wife Clara, who's been by my side through it all. Love you, honey. A blessed recovery. Clara stared. By his side. She hadn't seen him since the hospital. He was rewriting the narrative. In public. For friends and colleagues. He was the devoted husband. She the loyal wife. The accident just a bump in a perfect marriage. She took a screenshot. Added it to the evidence folder. Then she opened her laptop and started drafting a police report. The LinkedIn post spread like mold. By noon, Clara had 43 messages. Friends, colleagues, people she hadn't spoken to in 5 years. All saying the same thing. So sorry about the accident. What a wonderful husband. You're such a strong couple. She didn't reply to any. At work, her boss Karen pulled her aside. I saw Daniel's post. Are you okay? Do you need time off? I'm fine. It was minor. Well, the post was very sweet. You two are an inspiration. I was in Chicago, Clara said. I wasn't with him. Karen blinked. Oh, well, still, Clara smiled. The smile she'd had since she was 12. Thank you. By Wednesday, the whispers started. 2 co-workers by the copy machine, heads together over their phones. They stopped when she walked by. One said, "Hey, Clara," too brightly. The other wouldn't meet her eyes. She didn't know what they'd heard. Maybe Daniel had been talking. Maybe someone saw the police report. It didn't matter. The narrative was out. Clara was the cold wife who'd changed the locks while her husband was in the hospital. Daniel was the victim. She called Trish that night. "I need you to file the divorce papers. Now." A pause. "Clara, I can't." "What?" "Conflict of interest. My firm did contract work for Daniel's architecture business 2 years ago. A zoning dispute. It's minor, but ethically, I can't represent you. I can advise you, be your friend, but I can't be your lawyer." Clara sat down on the kitchen floor. Cold tile through her pants. "You're kidding, I wish. I can refer you to Sarah Kim, best family law attorney in the city, specializes in financial fraud. I'll call her tonight." "Trish, who do I have if I don't have you?" "You have yourself. And Maya, and me. Just not in a courtroom." She hung up. The bungalow was too big for one person. Too many rooms, too much silence. Her phone rang. "Maya, he called me. Said if I go to the police, he'll fight for full custody. Said he has more money, better lawyers, that I'm unfit because I quit my job. Are you working now? Subbing 2 days a week. It's not enough. He's right. I can't afford a custody battle. Then we don't let it get there. We report the fraud and let the state handle it. He can't fight for custody from a jail cell. You don't know that. People get bail, probation. He could be out in a month coming after Liam." Clara closed her eyes. "I don't have all the answers, but if we do nothing, he wins. He goes back to his life, and we go back to being his secrets. I'm not saying do nothing. I'm saying think it through. My son's future is on the line." Liam babbled in the background. "I have to go," Maya said. "He's pulling the cat's tail." Clara stayed on the floor. The house was dark except for the stove light. She thought about 3 weeks. The hospital, the photo album, the mortgage in her name, the LinkedIn post, the whispers, Trish stepping away, Maya pulling back. Surrounded by people, completely alone. Trust, she thought, was just another word for not paying attention. At 9, she got up, made a sandwich, ate it standing at the counter. Sarah Kim had sent a consultation request for Friday. Clara confirmed. Then she got in her car and drove. No destination. Past the park where they'd walked on Sundays, the grocery store, the coffee shop from their first date. Every place a memory. Every memory a lie. She ended up at the apartment building in northeast Portland, the one with the mortgage in her name. She parked across the street. 2-story stucco, faded peach, small courtyard. A light was on in Unit 6. A curtain moved. A shadow. Maya was home. Liam was probably in bed. Clara didn't get out. She sat 20 minutes, watching the light, thinking about $285,000 she owed on a place she'd never entered. When she got home, Daniel was on her front steps. The bandage was gone, but a pale scar curved above his left eyebrow. His arm was still in a sling. He wore the gray sweater she'd bought him for Christmas, the one he'd said he loved. He stood up. "Clara, we need to talk, please." She got out of the car, didn't walk toward him, stood by the door, keys in hand, and looked at him. Really looked for the first time since the hospital. He looked tired, defeated, but she knew those eyes. 11 years of studying them. Behind the exhaustion was something calculating. I'm not going to let you destroy me, he said. I'm not going to let you take my son, and I'm not going to jail because you decided to be vindictive. Vindictive, she repeated. You changed the locks. Took the money. Talking to the police. Trying to ruin my life because I made a mistake. 3 years. A child. A mortgage in my name. That's not a mistake, Daniel. That's a career. He took a step toward her. She didn't move. Drop the police report, he said, voice dropping. Handle this privately. For everyone's sake. Or what? The calculation surfaced in his eyes. Or I'll make sure everyone knows what really happened in our marriage. The nights you drank too much. The way you treated my mother, the miscarriage and how you never wanted a family anyway. I'll make you the villain, Clara. I'm very good at it. The words hit her, not because they were true, but because she knew he could make people believe them. He'd been doing it for 11 years. She didn't answer. Walked past him, up the steps, unlocked the door, went inside. Didn't look back. But she stood in the dark hallway, back against the door, and listened to his footsteps as he walked away. Daniel showed up at her office on a Thursday afternoon. He didn't call first. He just appeared in the lobby, asking the receptionist if Clara was available. She came down to find him sitting in the same leather chair Maya had occupied 2 weeks earlier. The symmetry wasn't lost on her. He looked worse than he had on her porch. The scar was still red. He'd lost weight. His clothes hung loose, the sweater sleeves covering his hands. He stood when he saw her, and for a moment he looked like the man she'd married, vulnerable, open, ready to be honest. Can we talk? He said. Somewhere private. They went to the conference room on the second floor, the one with the glass walls and the view of the Willamette River. Clara closed the blinds. She sat across from him. She didn't offer him coffee. I've been thinking, Daniel said. He leaned forward, his elbows on the table. About everything. About what I did. And I need you to know, I'm sorry. Truly sorry. I know that doesn't fix anything, but it's true. Clara said nothing. I was weak, he continued. I was unhappy, and instead of dealing with it like an adult, I ran. I created another life because I was too much of a coward to face the one I had. And I hurt you. I hurt Maya. I hurt everyone. His voice cracked. He wiped his eyes with the heel of his hand. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm not asking you to take me back. I'm asking, can we handle this without the police? Without the public spectacle? I'll give you the house. I'll give you everything. Just don't put me in jail. Don't do that to Liam. Clara watched him. She watched the way his shoulders shook, the way his voice broke on Liam's name. And then she saw it. The phone. It was on the table, face down, but the screen was lit. The recording app was open. He was recording her. She felt something shift inside her. Not anger, not sadness, something colder and cleaner. Clarity. Daniel, she said. Is your phone recording this conversation? He flinched. Just barely. What? No, why would... Turn it over. Clara, I don't know what you're... Turn the phone over, or I'll pick it up and turn it over myself. He stared at her. Then slowly he flipped the phone. The screen showed the recording app. Timer running. 4 minutes, 32 seconds. I was going to use it against you, she said. It wasn't a question. I was scared. I didn't know what you'd say. I needed to protect myself by recording me without my knowledge. In my office. During a conversation where you're supposedly apologizing, he didn't answer. He looked down at the table. Clara stood up. She walked to the door, opened it, and held it. Get out. Clara, get out of my office. Get out of my building! And don't ever come here again. He left. She watched him walk across the lobby, shoulders hunched, the phone back in his pocket. When he was gone, she closed the conference room door and stood there for a long time, breathing. That night, she called Maya. I want to do this properly, Clara said. All of it. The police report, the divorce, the fraud charges. But I need your help. I need the original forged divorce decree. I need any emails or texts where he claimed to be single. I need everything. Maya was quiet for a moment. Why now? Because he tried to record me today. He came to my office, pretended to apologize, and recorded the whole thing so he could use it against me. He's not going to stop. He's going to keep fighting, keep lying, keep manipulating. And the only way to end it is to hit him with everything at once. I have the decree, Maya said. The original. He kept it in a file box in the closet. I saw it when I was looking for Liam's birth certificate. Can you get it? Without him knowing? I can try. He's at the apartment most days now. He says he's working from home, but I think he's just hiding. If I take Liam to the park, I can leave for 20 minutes. No, don't risk it. We'll find another way. There is no other way. The originals are in that apartment. If he finds out I'm cooperating with you, he'll destroy them. Clara thought about it. Okay, but we do it carefully. You tell me when he's gone. I'll meet you there. We get the documents and we leave. No confrontation. Deal. They planned it for Saturday. Daniel had a physical therapy appointment at 10. He'd mentioned it in a text, probably hoping she'd ask how he was. She didn't, but she noted the time. At 9:45 on Saturday, Clara parked 2 blocks from the apartment building. Maya texted. He left. Liam's with my sister. Come up. Clara walked into the building, up the stairs to Unit 6. Maya was waiting at the door, holding it open. The apartment was small. 2 bedrooms, a living room, a kitchen. There were toys everywhere. A high chair by the table. A photo of Liam on the fridge. It looked like a home. It looked like the home Clara had thought she had. The file box is in the bedroom closet, Maya said. Top shelf. Clara followed her. The bedroom was neat. Made bed, laundry basket in the corner, a nightstand with a lamp and a stack of books. The closet was sliding doors. Maya opened them and pointed. On the top shelf, a cardboard file box. Clara reached up and pulled it down down. It was labeled Important Documents in Daniel's handwriting. She opened it. Inside, bank statements, tax returns, the apartment mortgage papers, and, at the bottom, a manila envelope. She opened it. The original forged divorce decree, printed on official-looking paper, with a seal that was almost convincing. And beneath it, another document, a power of attorney also forged, giving Daniel the right to sign for Clara on financial matters. This is it, Clara said. This is everything. Maya leaned in. Her face went pale. He had a power of attorney? In your name? He could do anything. Open accounts, take out loans, buy property. All in my name, all without me knowing. They heard the front door open. Maya's eyes went wide. He's not supposed to be back until 11. Footsteps. In the hallway. Getting closer. Closet, Maya whispered. Get in the closet. Clara grabbed the envelope and the file box. She slid into the closet, pulling the doors shut behind her. She crouched in the dark, surrounded by Maya's coats and Daniel's suits, the manila envelope pressed to her chest. She heard the bedroom door open. She heard Daniel's voice, not tired, not vulnerable, but sharp and angry. Where is she? He said. I know she was here. Her car is parked 2 blocks away. Clara held her breath in the closet. Maya's voice, calm and careful. What are you talking about? Who's here? Don't play dumb. I saw her car. The gray Corolla. She's been here. Daniel, you're being paranoid. I've been here alone. Liam's with my sister. Footsteps crossed the bedroom. The bed creaked. Through the closet door gap, Clara saw his scuffed brown boots, the ones he'd had since college. The file box, he said. Where is it? What file box? The one from the closet. Important documents. It's gone. I haven't touched anything. Maybe you moved it. I didn't move it. The boots moved closer. Clara pressed against the back wall, the envelope digging into her ribs. She could smell his cologne, cedar and citrus, the same one for 11 years. Then the boots stopped. He exhaled. Fine, I'll find it. But if you're lying, Maya, if you're working with her, you'll never see Liam again. The bedroom door closed. Footsteps receded. The front door slammed. Clara waited 5 minutes before pushing the doors open. Maya sat on the bed, face white, hands trembling. Did he mean it? Clara asked. About Liam? Maya looked up, eyes wet. I don't know. I used to think I knew him. Now I don't know anything. Clara sat beside her. We have what we need. The forged decree, the power of attorney, the mortgage papers. This is enough. They left together. Clara took the file box and envelope. Maya locked the door. On Monday, Clara met Sarah Kim, Trisha's referral, in a downtown office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Sarah was in her 40s, sharp-eyed, handshake like a vice. She read the evidence in 20 minutes. This is good, she said. The power of attorney is key. Aggravated identity theft, Class C felony. The forged decree is forgery 1. The prosecutor will take this seriously. The mortgage? We'll file to void it. Your signature was forged. You're not liable. Takes time. Meanwhile, freeze his assets, file for divorce, let the criminal case do the heavy lifting. Can he go to jail? Sarah leaned back. Possibly. But the real win is making him pay. Financially, professionally. License suspended. Felony record. Restitution. Jail is possible but not guaranteed. Clara thought about Daniel in a cell versus Daniel free but broken. No license, no money, no charm. She wasn't sure which was worse. By week's end, everything was in motion. Prosecutor had the evidence. Divorce filed. Civil suit underway, and Daniel's world unraveled. His biggest client, a Beaverton developer, dropped him. Rumors said someone tipped them about the investigation. Then another, then a third. By Friday, his business was dead. Eleanor called Sunday. Clara, dear, please drop the charges. He's my son. He made a terrible mistake, but he's not a criminal. He's a father. Liam needs him. Clara was in her kitchen, coffee in hand. Eleanor, he forged my signature, took out a mortgage in my name, lied to both of us for 3 years. He's not a victim. I know what he did. But he's still my boy. I can't lose him. I can't lose Liam. You didn't lose them. He did. When he decided to lie, silence. Then Eleanor, small and broken. I should have told you. I've known for 2 years. Saw them at the grocery store. Daniel, Maya, the baby. He begged me not to say anything. Said he'd fix it. I believed him. I know you knew, Clara said. You do? You're not a good liar, Eleanor. You never have been. I'm sorry, Clara. I'm so sorry. Clara hung up. She watched a neighbor walk a golden retriever down the street. She couldn't even be angry anymore. Too predictable. Too human. The prosecutor called Tuesday. Ms. Bennett, Detective Reeves, Multnomah County DA. We're moving forward with charges, but the defense has proposed a plea deal. Clara's hand tightened. What kind? He'll plead guilty to forgery and identity theft. Surrender his license. Pay full restitution. In exchange, you drop the civil suit and a gag order. Nothing public. No press, no social media, nothing. A gag order. Silence. He wanted to disappear into a sealed record, serve probation, start over somewhere else with no one knowing. Walk away clean, not innocent but invisible. And if I say no, trial. He'll probably be convicted. Evidence is strong. But trials take a year, maybe more. He'll drag it out. Make you testify. Make Maya testify. Put your entire marriage on display. Clara thought about the courtroom. Daniel's lawyer asking about the miscarriage, the wine, every argument and silence of 11 years. Maya on the stand, reliving 3 years of lies. Liam growing up with a father in jail or a convicted felon. She thought about the recording. The phone on the table, face down. I need to think about it. Of course. But the offer expires Friday. She hung up. She sat in the quiet kitchen and thought about what it meant to win. Was it jail? Was it money? Was it everyone knowing? Or was it simply meant finally by being free of him? Her phone buzzed. Maya. He just called. Said he's going to make this right. What does that mean? Clara typed back. It means he's scared. And scared people do desperate things. She set the phone down. The manila envelope sat on the counter. Forged decree, power of attorney, mortgage papers, evidence of a life she'd never known she was living. She had until Friday. Clara said no to the plea deal. She called Detective Reeves Thursday afternoon. He didn't sound surprised. Most people in your position do. They want the truth on the record. I don't care about the record, Clara said. I care that he can't do this to anyone else. The preliminary hearing was 3 weeks later. Multnomah County Courthouse. Judge Patricia Huang presiding. Clara wore a navy blazer and black pants. No jewelry except small silver earrings from her sister. She sat at the prosecution table with Sarah Kim and Detective Reeves. Maya sat 3 rows back with her sister. Liam was with a babysitter. Daniel sat with a court-appointed lawyer, tired, rumpled suit, checking his phone. Daniel had lost more weight. The scar above his eyebrow had faded to silver. He wouldn't look at Clara. The defense tried to exclude the power of attorney, claimed Clara stole it. Judge Huang rejected it in 5 minutes. The document was in a shared residence. Next. Then Daniel took the stand. Mr. Bennett, his lawyer said, tell the court about your marriage. Daniel looked at the floor. It wasn't happy. Not for a long time. Clara was distant. Worked all the time. After the miscarriage, she shut down. I was alone in my own house. Clara listened without moving. She'd known this was coming. The cold wife narrative. The rewriting of history. I met Maya. She was kind. She listened. I should have divorced first. I know that. But I was weak. Afraid of being alone. So I told her I was divorced. Forged some papers. I'm not proud. But I'm not a criminal. I'm a man who made a mistake. He looked at the judge, eyes wet. I just want to be a father to my son. Sarah Kim stood. Mr. Bennett, you say you made some bad decisions. The forged divorce decree? The forged power of attorney? The $285,000 mortgage in your wife's name without her knowledge? All of the above? All of it. I'm not denying any of it. 3 years of monthly transfers to a secret account. A child. A mortgage. That's not a moment, Mr. Bennett. That's a career. Objection. Sustained. Sarah moved on. Did you record a conversation with your wife on October 17th? In her office? Daniel's face tightened. I don't recall. Your phone was seized. The recording app shows a 4-minute, 32-second recording at 2:17 p.m. that day. Would you like to hear it? He said nothing. The recording played. Daniel's voice warm and vulnerable. I'm sorry. Truly sorry. Just don't put me in jail. Don't do that to Liam. Then Clara. Daniel, is your phone recording this conversation? Silence. Daniel. What? No. Turn it over. The recording ended. You came to her office, pretended to apologize, recorded her without knowledge, and planned to use an edited version to discredit her. Correct? Yes, he said, barely audible. Clara took the stand next. She described the accident, the hospital, the nurse's words. Plainly, no drama, no tears, just facts. The flight, the rain, the parking garage, the call to Trish. You had the opportunity to accept a plea deal, Sarah said. He'd plead guilty, surrender his license, pay restitution. You declined. Why? Clara looked at Daniel for the first time that day. He was staring at his hands. Because a plea deal with a gag order means it never happened. He moves somewhere else, maybe changes his name, does this again. The truth isn't just about what he did to me. It's about Maya, Liam, my mother-in-law, who knew and said nothing. 11 years of my life were a lie. I'm not going to let the record be a lie, too. The defense lawyer stood. You changed the locks while your husband was in the hospital, transferred $60,000 from a joint account, entered his other residence and removed documents. Reasonable actions? Clara looked at him. They're the actions of someone who just learned her entire life was fake. He had a concussion, broken ribs. And your first instinct was to lock him out and take the money. My first instinct was to sit in my car and not throw up. My second was to call my best friend. My third was to protect myself. He had 11 years, to be honest. I gave him one night. The words hung in the quiet courtroom. Judge Huang reviewed the evidence for 20 minutes. The state has presented compelling evidence of forgery, aggravated identity theft, and financial fraud, she said. The reduced plea is denied. This case proceeds to trial. Bail, $25,000. Mr. Bennett, no contact with Ms. Bennett or Ms. Torres. Any violation means immediate remand. Daniel stood. His lawyer whispered. He nodded. Didn't look at Clara. Sarah squeezed her shoulder. That went well. Really well. Clara nodded. She walked into the hallway. Daniel was there, leaning against the wall, waiting. You won, he said. It's not over yet. It is for me. I'll lose the trial. Lose my license. Lose everything. Clara stopped. Close enough to see the gray in his stubble, the lines around his eyes that hadn't been there 3 months ago. You should have thought of that before you forged my signature. Maybe. He paused. You know the worst part? I really did love you. I loved Maya too. I just couldn't be honest with either of you. That's on me. Not you. Clara said nothing. You're going to be fine, Daniel said. You're strong. Stronger than me. But Clara, you're never going to trust anyone again. Not really. Not after this. And that's the thing I can't fix. The thing I'll never be sorry enough for. He walked away. Clara watched him go, shoulders hunched, the scar visible as he turned the corner. She stood in the courthouse hallway, surrounded by the hum of people and echoing footsteps, and thought, he's wrong. I will trust again. Maybe not tomorrow. Maybe not next year. But I will, because the alternative was letting him win. And she was done letting him win. The trial lasted 3 days. Daniel didn't testify. His lawyer called no witnesses. The evidence was overwhelming. Forged documents, the recording, bank records, Maya's testimony, Clara's. The jury deliberated 4 hours and came back guilty on all counts. forgery, aggravated identity theft, financial fraud. Judge Huang sentenced him to 5 years probation, 200 hours community service and full restitution, $187,000. His architecture license was revoked permanently, no prison, but he'd spend the rest of his life paying for it, in money and reputation. The divorce finalized 6 weeks later. Clara kept the house. Daniel kept his 10-year-old Subaru. The apartment mortgage was voided. The property went into foreclosure. Clara's credit recovered within a year. Maya moved to Sacramento. She called the week before she left. My parents are there. They can help with Liam. Got a job at an elementary school in Elk Grove. Full-time. Benefits. That's good. Clara, thank you. For not giving up. For believing me when I didn't believe myself. You would have done the same. Maya was quiet. I don't know. You're braver than me. You got in a car with a toddler and drove 300 miles to start over. That's not weakness. They said goodbye. Didn't promise to stay in touch. That would have been a lie. And neither was in that business anymore. But Clara knew her number. Maya knew hers. Sometimes that was enough. Trish came back. Not as a lawyer. The conflict was permanent. But as a friend. She showed up with Thai takeout and wine. And they sat on the porch talking about everything except Daniel. Trish's nephew's soccer games. Clara's job. The maple tree turning red. You never talk about what's next, Trish said. With your life, not just the divorce. Clara looked at the street. A neighbor walked a dog. The sky was that deep Pacific Northwest blue from late October. I've been thinking about quitting my job. Trish nearly choked. Quitting? The marketing director job. The one that pays $120,000? I've been there 8 years. I know every campaign, every client, every board member's coffee order. I'm good at it, but I'm not there anymore. Where are you? Clara told her. About the women in the prosecutor's waiting room. About the support group Sarah Kim referred her to. Women financially exploited by partners. How many didn't know where to start, didn't know their rights, didn't know a mortgage in their name wasn't a life sentence. I want to help them. Consulting. Advocacy. Helping women untangle the financial mess left by someone who was supposed to love them. I have restitution money. Savings. I can survive a year while I build it. Trish looked at her, then smiled. You're going to be amazing. ClearPath Financial Advocacy opened in January. Small office in a converted Southeast Portland warehouse. Exposed brick. Big windows. A coffee machine that cost more than planned. First client. Diane, whose ex opened credit cards in her name. Second, a widow whose late husband hid a second mortgage. Third, a 26-year-old whose boyfriend drained her savings. Word spread. By March, 3 clients a week. By June, a part-time assistant. She didn't date. Didn't want to. She was learning to be alone. Not the lonely alone of her marriage's last years, but the good kind, where you choose your own company and find it enough. Pottery class. Hiking group. A gray tabby from the shelter with one white paw, named Mochi, Eleanor called once in February. Didn't ask forgiveness. Just said, I think about you every day. I hope you're well, Clara said. I am, and meant it. They didn't talk again. Daniel didn't call. Didn't write. Got a job framing houses. Work that didn't need a license. Paid restitution monthly. On time. The minimum. Clara saw the payments and felt nothing. Not anger. Not satisfaction. Nothing. He'd become irrelevant. It was a Tuesday in April when the phone rang. Clara was at her desk, going over Diane's credit report, when her assistant poked in.
Clara? Woman on the line.
Says it's urgent. Wouldn't give her name. Clara picked up. This is Clara Bennett. The woman was crying. Not quiet sobbing. The kind after holding it in for hours. I'm sorry. I don't know who else to call. My husband, he was in a car accident. I was out of town, rushed to the hospital, and the nurse, she said his wife and child were already with him. His wife. I thought that was me. Clara closed her eyes. She was back in the OHSU parking garage, rain on the windshield, the words landing like something physical, back in that moment where the world splits in two. She took a breath. Sit down, Clara said, steady, calm, the voice she'd wished someone had used with her. Take a breath. I'm going to tell you exactly what to do next. The woman was quiet. Then, small. Okay, first, you don't go in that room. Not today. Leave the hospital. Go home. Or a friend's house, anywhere that isn't where he is. Second, call your bank. Change all passwords. Move joint savings into an account only you can access. Third, call a lawyer. Not tomorrow. Today. I can give you 3 names. Okay. Fourth, most important, you are not crazy. You are not overreacting. What happened to you is real. It is not your fault, and you are going to get through it. The woman cried again, differently now, the kind when someone finally believes you. Thank you. I didn't know what to do. I just sat in my car for an hour. I know, Clara said. I did the same thing. She hung up, sat at her desk, looking out at the skyline. Bridges, river, gray sky breaking into blue. She thought about the woman on the phone, the parking garage, 11 years of lies, forged documents, the recording, the trial, the silence after. Daniel's words in the hallway. You're never going to trust anyone again. He was wrong. She trusted this woman. She trusted the clients who walked through her door, terrified and broken, and let her help. She trusted Trish, Mochi, the woman in pottery class who brought cookies. She even trusted herself again. That was the hardest part, and the most important. Her assistant poked in. Clara, your 2 o'clock is here. Clara smiled. Send her in. She opened her notebook, picked up her pen. She was ready.